Don't ask, don't tell. There is a lot of stuff going on in response to our interview with Paul Cameron last week. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot. And we'll get to that at the end of the show. Incredible comments from both sides and the video going somewhat viral on the web. And there's still more news coming as a result of the Don't Ask, Don't Tell repeal request that we heard from Barack Obama at the State of the Union address. While discussing Don't Ask, Don't Tell with the Family Research Council's Peter Sprigg and the Service Members Legal Defense Network's Aubrey Davis, Chris Matthews got Peter Sprigg to admit just how extreme his views are on gay rights, essentially saying, throw him in prison. Why is it every time I see one of these anti-homosexual people that they are saying they are saying things that are making other people's gaydar go off? And this is something we heard with Paul Cameron. A lot of people saying this guy seems like a latent homosexual. Same comments about the Family Research Council's Peter Sprigg. I'll play this for you, and you can judge for yourself. It's strange, the stuff he's saying. That's for sure.
What I hear you're saying is that you believe that gays and lesbians should not serve their country in the uniform whatsoever.
That's absolutely right.
Not only are you opposed to repealing Don't Ask, Don't Tell, you would prohibit all gays and lesbians from serving their country.
That's
right
exactly
now,
right.
We're fighting two wars, and we need every qualified trooper to be out there.
The percentage of people, the number who would refuse to serve in the military if they're forced to serve with open homosexuals would dwarf the number of homosexuals who would actually volunteer.
There is no basis, in fact, for that assertion.
There's a Military Times poll which showed that 10% of currently serving military would consider not re-enlisting if the military was open to homosexuals.
And that's a poll of the readers of the Military Times.
Well, that's the only indication we have of the views of currently serving members.
Let me ask you, Peter, do you think people choose to be gay?
People do not choose to have same-sex attractions, but they do choose to engage in homosexual conduct. And that's conduct also which, incidentally, is against the law within the military. It violates the Uniform Code of Military Justice. It doesn't make any sense for us to be actively recruiting people who are going to violate the Uniform Code of Military Justice.
Do you think we should outlaw gay behavior?
Well, I think certainly
I'm just asking you, should we outlaw gay behavior?
I think that the Supreme Court decision in Lawrence v. Texas, which overturned the sodomy laws in this country, was wrongly decided. I think there would be a place for criminal sanctions against homosexual behavior.
So we should outlaw gay behavior?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Peter Sprigg. We know your position.
Incredible, is it? Where do these people come from? How can you be so consumed with what two men or two women want to do that you're thinking that gay behavior should be outlawed? Why? It just forget about the fact that it's a bizarre, old-fashioned, archaic position to have. Why even waste your time with this type of stuff? Just let people do what they want to do. It's not bothering you in any way, is it? I mean, maybe they would argue it is.
We've had guests. I think we've asked this of people before on our show. And I'm trying to remember what they said. I think it was something like, well,
their morality just won't let them sit on the sideline.
Well, this is what we need to, spread God's message, and, this is an evil thing.
Well, a lot of people thinking that those who most loudly denounce homosexuality may be homosexuals themselves. I mean, there's plenty of instances of it, right?
Let me be clear. I am not gay. I never have been gay.
And we know that that's not always the case.
Right.
What else is going on with Don't Ask, Don't Tell? Tony Perkins. If you have never heard Tony Perkins speak, you should. He's from the Family Research Council, and this really needs no introduction or explanation. I'll just play it for you. You make of it what you will.
Country. It's not a question of whether or not they have a desire to serve, nor is it a question of whether they can serve. They certainly can serve in the military today. It's a question of the behavior of those who identify themselves as homosexual. I think the question, Larry, has been raised is what has changed since 1993 when this policy was implemented by the Clinton administration. We've had 14 congressional hearings since then, all coming to the same conclusion that this would undermine unit cohesion and military readiness. And so even the Democratic chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, Ike Skelton, says he's opposed to changing this policy. There's members of the Joint Chiefs that are opposed to changing this policy. So it's not a foregone conclusion that this is going to be changed.
What is the fear? That the gay person will come on with the straight person, or the straight person will be embarrassed to take it? What's the fear?
Well, I think we've seen the same thing when we've had to be very careful of how we integrate the sexes in the military. And I think a lot of people don't understand, the present company accepted here, but the military is a different environment. There's very few occasions where you're living in the same room and showering with 80 men. You know, having been an enlisted man in the Marine Corps, there is no privacy. Officers have a little more privacy than enlisted men.
Okay. So Tony Perkins just literally going completely off with a litany of unrelated non sequiturs related to why he's scared of gay guys in the military. And that's really the only explanation there is for Tony Perkins. I can't think of any other explanation for why he's saying what he's saying. And we know about the conspiracy, not the conspiracy, but the thoughts of just the disaster that there would be. And there can't possibly be anybody in the military who is gay and is doing a good job, right? That's a common thought.
They put a planted gay phony general in the audience.
Now, we're just playing the clips, of course, of people who, don't want this repealed, who, oppose gays in the military, whatever.
Right.
But generally speaking, isn't the, amount of support to repeal this, overwhelming?
I don't know if I'd use the term overwhelming. It's there. It depends, obviously, what poll you're talking about and what numbers you see. In the State of the Union address, we saw essentially the entire room stand when Barack Obama asked and said he would ask more formally for the repeal of Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And based on that, you would think it would have been really easy. But no, we need, and we'll talk to Barney Frank about this later, we need a year to study it. We need to figure out how many homophobes would quit the military if this were repealed, so on and so forth. It's not going to be that simple, even though, like I said, it seemed like everybody basically stood up at the State of the Union. I don't know. I don't know what the official, if there is such a scientific poll on this, what the official standing of it is amongst the general population.
Don't know, but I imagine within the not too distant future, Don't Ask, Don't Tell will be repealed.
I would assume so. This episode of Midweek Politics has been made possible in part by Just Coffee Cooperative, fair trade coffee from around the world roasted daily at justcoffee.coop.